Welcome back to Jersey Matters. So you're fully vaccinated, so you feel fully protected, and then you come down with COVID-19. Jersey Matters' Kimberly Kravitz spoke with some of the unfortunate few who are breakthrough cases. Kimberly.
Experts blame the Delta variant for a rise in breakthrough COVID-19 cases. So what does this mean exactly, and how can we best avoid it?
A breakthrough case of COVID is when somebody who's been fully immunized against COVID with 2 or 1 of the appropriate vaccines gets a case of COVID.
All along, the CDC says that contracting a mild case of COVID-19 is still possible, even after a person receives their vaccine.
You know, nobody ever really said vaccination was 100% effective at preventing anybody from getting sick. It did have a close to 100% success at preventing death.
The president of the state's largest public hospital, Deborah Visconti, developed a breakthrough case of COVID-19 after both shots of Pfizer.
I was fully vaccinated, which I am certain played a part in the fact that I didn't have significant symptoms and I didn't have to get hospitalized.
Visconti suffers from asthma and is certain that she could have had a much worse case of COVID-19.
I felt the tightness of the chest and the cough, and you just feel like you're out of control of your respiratory system.
Dominic Frontera, an 80-year-old man that suffers of COPD, contracted COVID-19 after his second shot of Moderna, and he was hospitalized.
I was lucky because the breathing became controllable with oxygen for that rest of the evening, but I did have aches and pains. Once in a while, breathing was difficult. I still don't have taste back.
Frontera shared a story about his roommate in the hospital who had a much worse case of COVID-19.
And he asked me, was I vaccinated? And I said, yes, I was. And he said, you see and you have it? I said, were you vaccinated? And he said, no. And I said, well, maybe that's why your case is a lot worse than mine.
21-year-old Grace Hugo tells me that she too tested positive for COVID-19 a few months after her second Pfizer shot.
Upon reflection, I definitely was one of those people who was like, I'm vaccinated, I'm indestructible, like I don't need to worry anymore. I started, getting cold flu-like symptoms, but something that I've always thought about during that time and upon reflection afterwards is how much was psychosomatic in a sense, where it's now that I know, I've been tested positive.
Headaches, runny nose, sneezing, sore throat, and loss of smell are all symptoms of a breakthrough case of COVID. So, how high are our chances of getting COVID after we've been fully vaccinated?
The only thing you can do if you're vaccinated to avoid getting COVID is to stay away from people with COVID, wear a mask, wash your hands, do the things we've always talked about doing to avoid COVID. But if you're exposed to COVID and it gets into your nose or wherever the portal of entry is into your body and it takes hold there, you might develop COVID.
Above all, the big takeaway from all of these responses:
the vaccines are safe and effective. And if it could happen to somebody like me that is super protected, and I just, I believe it was that one incident where I let my guard down, it can happen to anyone. And your best defense against getting very sick, ending up in a hospital on a ventilator, are really minimized by getting the vaccine. So,
according to the CDC, post-vaccine immunity wanes over time. Both the Pfizer and Moderna vaccines are said to lose some efficacy over time. They say about 4 months. As far as the J&J one-time shot, they say is the least effective overall. Reporting for Jersey Matters, I'm Kimberly Kravitz.